If you could all do me a favor and close your eyes for a second, that would be amazing. I want you to imagine that you're a 22-year-old woman. You got married a few years ago, and you have 2 kids. I want you to imagine that you have to walk about 1 mile a day to get fresh water. I want you to imagine having to hold off going to the bathroom until late at night because you're afraid of the men lurking in the area that might do something to you. I want you to imagine, just take a moment to imagine having to support a house of 4 people that could only really support 2. You guys can open your eyes now. These are actual conditions that many people face in India. And not many people realize it, but this is the reality for a lot of rural areas. These are the conditions that I fight for. These are the people that I fight for. Imagine having to walk with that on your head for 10 miles a day. Imagine having to live in that with a family of 5 to 7 people when you only have food for about 2 to 3. I want to talk to you about the Chinmaya Organization for Rural Development, also known as CORD. This organization is what allows people to help people like what I just described in India. It's an organization that facilitates for self-sustainability, for empowerment and enrichment. These are the conditions that I fight for. Since inception in 1985, CORD started off from the Chinmaya mission by a man named Chinmayananda Saraswati. The Chinmaya mission is an organization that aims to teach children about the Hindu culture. Since inception, CORD has had 7 centers in India: CORD Siddhabari, Duladiha, Kaza, Latikata, Siruvani, Thamarayapakam, and Sri Lanka, along with 7 centers in the United States. CORD USA is not only an organization that aims to help people in India, but also to raise awareness about what people go through every single day. Now, beginning from the inception of CORD, CORD first started off as an isolated health program. It started off with just people talking about caring for mothers and children, but we started realizing that health is not a standalone factor. When you think about health, you think about medicine, you think about physical impoverity, but it's so much more than that. It's all about discrimination, poverty, illness, and social injustice. So, when we think about these different factors, what exactly is the vision of CORD? It's to harness human resources and enable the poor to transform their lives through programs driven by themselves, to facilitate through active participation. CORD is a little different from other nonprofit organizations in the sense that we don't just focus on raising money or raising funds, but we focus on self-empowerment. We focus on being able to go out to places in India, being able to work with people face to face, and being able to tell them, look them right in the eye and say, it will be okay, when you know full well in your heart that it will be okay. Here's a picture of me. I started the Chinmaya mission from a very young age of 6. I was very eager, and I would just go to class and just learn about the Hindu culture because that's what I was brought up with. I would go make new friends, learn some cool new ideas, and never really thought that I'd be getting into an organization like this. I got introduced to chord my freshman year of high school. I remember just walking into class one day and just thinking that it would be a regular class. And I'm sure that many people that were in there with me brush off that day today, but it's one that I hold really close to my heart. I remember sitting down and watching a video of this very young mother and her child, who was about 1 or 2 years old. And the video started off with her looking into the camera and saying in Hindi, "I don't know what to do." And I knew that video would be very impactful, but I didn't know how, like you see all these videos of poverty, of illness, here in the United States, in places like Africa, in places like India, so I just brushed it off, I didn't really know what to think about it. It wasn't the fact that she was a single mother raising a kid that got me. It wasn't even the fact that she was suffering that got me. What really impacted me from that video was her looking at her child and looking at the camera and tears falling down her face because she didn't know what to do. She didn't know what her child was going to grow up to be. She didn't even know if she could support that child to be anything. I like to laugh to myself a little bit because I go about on my day-to-day life just taking everything for granted. Waking up, taking a shower, eating food. But when I watched that video, I realized that something had to be done. I didn't really know what, but I realized that something had to be done. I remember going to my teacher at the end of class, along with a few other people in my class that were, a little teary. We walked up to her and she had a big smile on her face. I was really confused because why would you be smiling after watching a video like that? She said that was the goal of the video. She wanted someone to see that change. She started talking about the different centers of chord, the Chord India centers, the Chord USA centers, talking about how people, small, motivated people, had started chapters along Chord USA. So, although these funds and everything go towards India, Chord USA is what I'm here to represent. And Chord USA's main goal is to bring awareness to the work that Chord does through creating Chord ambassadors across America to raise funds and coordinate programs intended for social welfare, both in the Americas and the Indian subcontinent. So, from that point on, there was just a small group of us, and we were like, so let's do something about this. We got a small group of people together, started throwing out ideas, talking about, hey, maybe we can go talk to this person for a sponsorship. Maybe we can just, talk about Chord and what it does, and let's see where it gets us. So what started off with a small group of people eventually became an official chapter of Chord USA. I stand here to talk about the Chord Raleigh chapter, one that was started my sophomore year of high school. So about 4 years in the making now. This was our first run. It was called the Miles for Humanity Run, a 5K run that we got about 100 people, raised about $5,000. Not too big of a deal, right? It rained that day. Put a year's work into worth, and it rained, but it's fine. I started to realize that after that first 5K run, that things could actually be done. It first started off as an idea, and when we actually started splitting up into teams and actually talking to sponsors and getting donations and spreading the word, we realized that maybe we could actually make this a bigger chapter. So the next year, we had our next run, and we decided to make it a color run. I'm going to tell you guys a little story about one of the problems that I faced with this. So when you think of a normal color run, you think of like the big machines that spurt color out at you, right? Yeah, we didn't have that. So if you don't have those big machines spurting color at you, how do you have a color run? I remember it was me and about 10 other people in a garage one day. We were like, what should we do? And someone was like, let's do watercolor. And I was like, that's brilliant. So what we did is we drank a whole lot of milk, and we got a whole lot of milk gallons. And we put water in there, and we put paint in there, and we mixed it up. And we tried for about 3 months to see what kind of consistency we would get so that we could shoot color at people. That was the day of the run, me in mid-dance move. But we raised about $13,000 that one day for that 5K run. And going from $5,000 to $13,000 is something I can't even describe. And then there was last year. Our whole Cord Raleigh team. We raised about $17,000 that year. Now, you guys are probably like, okay, this is another nonprofit organization. Here's another spiel. Why do I care? I'm not here to convince you to become a part of the nonprofit. I'm not here to tell you about all these other issues that are happening around the world because I'm sure all of you are very aware. I'm here with one idea. And that one idea is to tell you about what it's like to be in Cord. In simple words, it's a movement that empowers and enhances people's self-reliance and self-respect. It's about, like I said before, looking into someone's eyes and being able to tell them with all of your heart that it is going to be okay, that their child will have a future, that they will be able to fend for themselves without having to rely on anyone else because independence is the most important thing that we can have. It's being the change that you want to see in the world. And I'm sure every nonprofit organization will tell you that, but I truly believe that that's what Cord is about. Because when you hear about other nonprofit organizations, you're like, oh yeah, like I'll donate $5, but I can't really connect with it. But what Cord does, even in Cord USA, even not being able to go to India, it's about working with a group of people. A group of people that you probably never would have worked with before, but all have one idea in mind. It's striving for self-empowerment and self-help with aid from those more fortunate, just like ourselves. I used to laugh because when I first got introduced to Cord and started giving pitches to other people, we used this really cliche quote, but it really does mean something for Cord. If you give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. But if you teach a man how to fish, you feed him for a lifetime. That's what Cord's about. It's about working with people and being able to assure them that they will have a future and that they will be able to go out and help others have a future. That's what I strive for, and I hope you do too. Thank you.